look, those conversations, if they're even had, will be internal for us as an organization between myself, Chris, Brandon, and our staff. So, no, I mean, just from a distraction standpoint, I don't even mention that. I don't think that's the case at all. And I think Kenyon's going to be at practice today, and he's excited to play, and just as the rest of the group is.
Do you anticipate him being on the team for the rest of the season?
I mean, yeah, I do. I mean, unless there's some other situation that presents itself. I mean, look, I can't sit here and predict the future, but yeah, I do. He's been productive for us. He's a good player, and I mean, that's what I expect.
Brian, do you have an update on Jamarcus Graham?
Well, he's doing everything he can to get back out there. He's a tough kid. He wants to play, wants to practice, so he's doing everything he can, and hopefully we get him out there today.
What's the plan if he can't go?
We'd have to move some things around. Obviously, Isaiah Prince has started a game for us early in the year, so that'd be he'd be the next guy in. But we'll see how Jamarcus is feeling, and again, he's a tough guy, so he'll do everything he can to get out there.
Brian, a phrase that came up a couple of times, and I think you used it after the game Sunday, was referring to learning how to win.
Mm-hmm.
How does a team go about doing that? Is it something where you've done it once you've actually won, or
Yeah.
what's the process? You've been on teams that have won a lot. So.
I think there's a lot that goes into it. I think the one thing it's really every play counts. I think that's the first piece to it. So from the first play to the last play and every play in between, they all count. So you want to have high execution, really on every play, good communication, because you don't know which one it's going to be that's the difference between winning and losing. So I think that mentality, that every play counts, and if you dwell on previous plays, good or bad, that'll affect the next play. So just kind of having a next play mentality and an every play counts mentality. That's where I would start. To me, the next part is there are critical moments in the game. Let's call it critical red zone possession or critical third down or a defensive possession, after a score. I mean, there's just kind of critical points in the game. I think, and again, every play counts and every play is critical, but there are critical, moments and junctures in the game where, as a team, we need to kind of recognize that and play our best football right then. So, best execution, best communication, best calls, from a play call standpoint. Like there's an entire series of. And look, a lot of people are involved in that, myself included. And I think, that's kind of what we talked about as a team, as a staff. And those are things but you have to recognize those situations in game.
Is there any aspect of what you just described where you think the team is doing particularly well at this point or needs to really focus on that's been lacking up to this point?
Yeah, I mean, we're lacking in a lot of those areas, recognizing those critical situations, execution in those critical situations. I think all of it is plays a role, and we need to get better at that. It starts with me.
Sacks are easy for us to see. Taco has 3 and 4 games. What's not so obvious in terms of how Taco is doing?
I think he's doing well. I think he's still learning. I think from a consistency standpoint, rush to rush, there's some things he could be doing a lot better. He's had some production. There could be more, and that just comes with knowing your opponent, knowing the scheme, putting yourself in a good position. So I think he's doing a lot of good things, and I think if he continues to improve and get more comfortable within the defense. He'll continue to have the production that he's had, and maybe hopefully even more.
Well, what has been at the root of the issue in terms of this team's inability to stop the run from your standpoint?
I mean, again, communication, setting the edge, tackling, I would say, at the end of the day. I think if we tackle better, and that's going to be a big thing this week against this group. You know, they do, they're tops in the league as far as yards after contact. So tackling, I would say, is at the forefront. But again, there's a lot of things that go into it, from a communication, alignment, setting the edge. But at the end of the day, we got to do a better job of tackling.
Your back end seems to whenever you go down maybe in the last 2 weeks. So what has shown up to you that's impressed you?
I think those between Ken and Needham and Ryan Lewis, I think those guys they play hard. They work the techniques. They try to be physical at the line of scrimmage. All three guys can run pretty well. So, look, we're trying to develop everyone on the team. I think you can kind of see some progress in the back end with those young guys. And look, they're all hardworking kids. It's very important to each one of them. They listen. They're attentive, and they've had a little bit of production.
How demanding are you on them to learn a bunch of different things to play it on Sunday? We've talked about, obviously, Eric playing some safety, but you move a bunch of guys around.
We try to put a lot on that group and try to put them all in positions to play well, and I think they've responded, that entire group, and I would say that about the entire team. We ask them, we've asked multiple guys to play different roles, and defensively they've all kind of responded, and it's not all perfect. I'd be the first to say that, but I think this is a hard-working group, and we'll just continue to put more on them, ask them to do more, and hopefully they're productive out there.
You've obviously seen all the games. Do you think that there's been times where the opponents have underestimated your team?
No, that's not really something I think about. I think in this league, I don't think there's a coach out there that's underestimating another team. I don't think that's not how. I don't think that happens a lot in this league. So I think every week it's another test for every team, just like it is for us. And I think teams, hopefully they see that we're going to compete and fight. And I can't speak for other teams, to be honest with you.
The reason I'm asking is, if you watch the New England game, the Dallas game, last week's Buffalo game, it's almost like they're not all that into it, and all of a sudden they turn it on, and things change in the game. That's why, you notice that, right?
I just think you go out, you start the game, teams make adjustments, we try to make adjustments. I think that's how every game goes. There's ebbs and flows in each game. I can't speak to whether or not another team underestimated us or didn't underestimate. I just, there's no way for me to actually know that. My opinion is that they're not. I think every team, every coach, they're trying to go out there and move the ball offensively and stop them defensively, and win the field position battle in the kicking game. I don't think anyone is not trying to do that, or thinks that the other team's going to not go out there and play. I don't think that's the case. So that's kind of my thought process there.
Brian, you have a young team. What advice would you give to all those players who have never played in Monday Night Football before?
Take it one play at a time. I think, look at the road game on Monday night to be our first night game of the season. A lot of attention paid to the game, but let's just take it one play at a time. That's going to be my message really the entire week. And let's try to execute. Let's try to communicate, execute on a play-to-play basis, and see how that works out for us. So let's not think about it being Monday night or who's watching or the outcome of the game or anything like that. Let's just take it one play at a time.
What's your assessment of Andrew Donald and Keaton Sutherland since you've gotten them here and been able to implement them into the offensive line?
Donald's he's had some experience in the league, and that shows up on the field as far as communication, having seen different looks. Tough, he's physical, he's a hardworking guy. Keaton's young player in the league. He's got some athletic ability. This is a smart kid. He kind of understands things almost like a veteran in a lot of ways. So that's been good. And I think I like having both guys. I know haven't got much time for either one of them, specifically Keaton, but I think they're developing, and that's really what we're looking for.
You guys are very familiar with Minkah and obviously playing this week on the other side. How do you evaluate, I guess, how the deal has affected both teams, short term and long term?
I mean, that's not really. I just kind of evaluate their defense, and him as a cog in their defense, as well as their offense and their special teams. They got a lot of good players. Minkah happens to be one of them. So, I'm not thinking about the deal. I'm thinking about the Steelers and T.J. Watt and Bud Dupree over here, and Hargrave in the middle, and Hayward and Devin Bush, and Minkah and Edmonds, and Nelson over here. You know what I mean? Like in Hayden, like that. Like it's not. There's a lot. They got a lot of guys. You can't focus on one guy. So, and then offensively, we can go into all of that. So, the deal was the deal, and that happened. But it's in the past, and it's not really. I got a lot of other things on my mind.
Okay.
I understand the question, but.
What have you noticed from how you used him and how he's kind of delved into their defense?
I think he's had some production. He's playing safety. He's playing some in the box, in the deep part of the field. I think they're using. Using him well, and he's been productive. So, look, I mean, I have a lot of respect for Minkah, as do a lot of our players. But I have a lot of respect for that entire team. So, and he's a good piece for them.
How would you assess his development through the season?
Devontae Parker, okay. I think he's made a lot of improvement over the course of the year, and every week he seems to kind of come up with a catch, a big catch for us, deep down the field or across the middle, and made some tough catches as well. So, I mean, the way he's practiced, the way he performs the way he practices in games has has shown up in games, and I think he's really done a good job along with the rest of the receiver group. I think we're starting to get some guys back from Preston to Albert. Albert, had a catch last week, and I think we're starting to get him back going, and Hearns. So I like what I'm seeing from that group, and hopefully we continue to improve.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Stephen's in there for a second.